morning and welcome back to my channel. It is 7:28 in the morning on a Sunday when I'm filming this. It's Sunday, so the only reason why I'm up so early and like already have my morning routine and everything done is because I'm about to head to a workout class. But that kind of goes into why I'm filming today's video, which is because I started 75 soft the other day and I wanted to make this video super quick, kind of going over why I'm doing 75 soft, my rules for it, because with 75 soft, the difference between 75 soft and 75 hard is that you can kind of like morph the rules into what you need them to be. So we're gonna go over all 10 of the rules that I have for myself over the next 75 days, and then I'll kind of talk through some things that I'm doing to try to accomplish all of these rules. I posted about this on my TikTok the other day and I got a lot of comments saying that my rules were like a little bit too hard for 75 soft. Someone was saying like, why didn't you just do 75 hard, because these rules like could be kind of challenging for some people. I feel like again with 75 hard, the rules just are what they are and you kind of can't morph them, whereas with 75 soft, like I have 10 rules on this list that we're going to talk through. Some of these are very different to 75 hard, so I just wanted to do what makes the most sense for me and what is going to help me like get to where I'm trying to accomplish. This is my first time ever going through a challenge like this, like 75 hard or 75 soft, and I feel like the whole idea around it is just like sticking to something for 75 days. I think they say that it takes 60 days to develop a habit, so if we're going to do these habits over the next 75 days, then ideally these are things that I could realistically stick to throughout the rest of my life. That's another reason why I decided to do 75 soft and not 75 hard, just because again, some of the rules in 75 hard, I'm like, okay, if I don't drink alcohol for the next 75 days, great. But then if I start just drinking like I normally do after those 75 days, it like doesn't really make an impact. But with that, let's get into my 10 rules for 75 soft. I have my iPad here with Notion pulled up, and Notion is how I'm tracking all of my habits for 75 soft. In the habits and routines page of my Notion planner template, there is a habit tracker embedded. So I listed out all of the rules and I can just copy this every single week so that I can track all of my habits. The first 3 that I'm focused on for 75 soft are related to my morning routine. The big one here, and probably the most challenging, but also the one that I'm most excited about, I said 5:30 a.m. wake up on weekdays. I'm not giving myself like a wake up time on the weekends. I do wake up typically pretty early just because I do have a dog and she gets me up like by 7 or 7:30 on the weekends. Sometimes I can sleep until 8 on the weekends, but I didn't really give myself a time limit because of that. But on the weekdays, I said 5:30 a.m. and honestly, I'm just such a more productive person in the morning, and when I sleep in until 7 on the weekdays, I just feel like I lose out on a lot of productive energy. And I also go to bed really early, so 5:30 is like kind of the perfect night's sleep for me. If I'm going to bed at 9:30, I can wake up at 5:30, and I honestly, once I do get out of bed, I feel amazing. So 5:30 a.m. wake ups, and then the second and third ones are read 10 pages of a nonfiction book every day and journaling every single day. I have to say I've done better at the journaling aspect than the reading aspect. I have not been a big reader recently, and I feel like 75 soft is the perfect time to be like, okay, Erin, you can read 10 pages. Like even if you don't want to be doing it, like you can read 10 pages every single day. These are the 2 nonfiction books that I'm going to be working through over the next 75 days. I feel like with nonfiction books, you can kind of like read multiple at a time, and it just like depends on the day, whatever you're into. The first one is 8 Rules of Love by Jay Shetty. I started reading this last year and I got a couple chapters into it and it was really good, but I just like never picked it back up. So we're getting back into this book. The second one, I've really been into this book as well, but again, I just don't read a lot. I do listen to a lot of podcasts on like educational topics, so I feel like that has kind of replaced reading for me a little bit, but I want to get back into it. Same thing with this book. I started reading this a couple of months ago and just like really liked it, but never picked it back up. This is The Originals by Adam Grant. Adam Grant has a lot of books and I've listened to like a ton of podcasts with him, and I think he is so awesome. So I'm excited to keep reading this book as well. A lot of questions on how I'm journaling. I showed in like a morning routine video on my Instagram that I was journaling on my iPad. I definitely used to be like a physical pen and paper journaler, but since I got an iPad, I've actually really been loving journaling on my iPad instead. I just have the Good Notes app, and every morning I'll just like write the date and then I'll write my paragraph. Sometimes I'll write like 1 paragraph, sometimes I'll write 3 pages. It really just depends on the day. And then I've also been trying to add a little section down here for like affirmations. So once I'm done journaling whatever I'm like journaling about that day, then at the end I will write some affirmations about it. The next couple of rules are food related. Obviously there's like health and fitness rules in this, and I will say like my starting point and why I think a lot of people were commenting on my video saying that these rules are like still kind of hard for 75 soft. My starting point was already pretty good. I do have a pretty good diet. I do work out a lot. I have a really consistent workout routine. So I wanted to sort of like challenge myself in other areas while still making this like realistic for me. The first 2 in the food category are 30 grams of protein for breakfast and then no caffeine until food. I feel exponentially better during the day when I do these 2 things. Over the past week or so, I've been doing for breakfast a Greek yogurt bowl with protein powder and a bunch of fruit. And then I'll add like peanut butter and stuff in it too for some healthy fat. But with that, the Greek yogurt and the protein powder, it's like 30 or 35 grams of protein, and that keeps me full for so long. I feel like I was doing kind of like an avocado toast with eggs breakfast in the morning, and that was like pretty high in calorie, which is fine. I don't like track my calories or anything, but it was like pretty high in calories relative to the amount of protein that I was getting. So I was just feeling like I would eat and I would have like a decent sized breakfast, but then I would be hungry again in 2 hours. So the Greek yogurt bowls have been really good for me. I've been doing that for, again, like the last week or so. And then no caffeine until food. I do a decent job of this already, but there's definitely still days where I roll out of bed and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want coffee so bad. Just waiting a little bit. Typically by the time I eat breakfast and everything, it's like well over 2 hours after I wake up, which is like the perfect time for me to start drinking caffeine. And then the other two health related rules are, I said 3 full meals a day, and I feel like this is kind of vague. And if you're trying to follow these rules, this might not make the most sense, but I didn't really know how to label my food goals for 75 soft, just because again, I do have a pretty good diet. I don't believe in the whole, like, I think 75 hard, it says no cheat meals or something. I don't believe in any of that. I think like living a healthy, balanced life also means just like letting yourself have the piece of chocolate if you want the piece of chocolate and things like that. So the reason why I labeled it 3 full meals a day is because there's definitely days where I don't let myself get to the point of being hungry enough for a meal. So I'm just like constantly snacking throughout the day, and then I feel terrible on those days. So I think the 3 full meals a day thing, that'll be like, again, eating a really big breakfast, a really big lunch, a really big dinner. And that's not saying that I can only eat during those times. Like if there's a day where I'm hungry enough for a 4th meal or like snacks in between, that's fine. But as long as I'm making sure I'm getting obviously like nutritious 3 full meals a day, then I think we'll be good. And then I kind of mentioned at the beginning of the video alcohol, and I did leave an alcohol related rule in for 75 soft. I said no more than 2 drinks per week. I think the original 75 soft challenge said like only drink in social settings, which I only ever drink in social settings anyway, so that didn't really apply to me. But I went back and forth for so long about whether or not I wanted to cut out alcohol for 75 soft, and I ultimately decided that I didn't want to, and that it's just something that like I physically don't want to cut out of my life at this point in my life. Maybe there will be a day where I'm like, yeah, I really don't think that alcohol suits me anymore. But at this point, like thinking about why I like drinking alcohol and what it does for me, I hate being drunk. I hate the feeling of being drunk, and 2 drinks per week, I'm never going to feel drunk. What I do like about drinking alcohol is I like the taste and like I like the experience of going and getting a nice cocktail. So on Friday, I met up with a couple of girls. I'm like trying to make friends in Nashville right now, so I met up with a couple of girls at this really cute cocktail bar, and I got like the best spicy marg ever, but I had one and then I went home and I still felt fine. I felt like great the next day. So I think the whole like 2 drinks per week thing is going to make me just like remind myself of what I like about drinking, but then also remind myself that every single time I'm in a social setting, I don't absolutely need a drink. Like if I'm not feeling a drink, I don't need a drink. I think before I would always just be like, okay, well I'm out, so like, yeah, let's get a drink, let's get a second, let's get a third. So this will definitely limit it, and it'll make me feel good throughout the next 75 days without cutting something out sort of unnecessarily, in my opinion. Then for my 2 fitness related rules, again, I said at the beginning that I was already starting at like a pretty good point here. I go to the gym like 5 to 6 days a week. I primarily lift weights, and then for cardio, I do a lot of like incline walking on the treadmill. But I just want to push myself like a little bit more for 75 soft without going to the extent of 75 hard when it comes to like not taking any rest days. Like I think that's my big problem with 75 hard, is that it says like 2 45-minute workouts every single day for the next 75 days. I just really don't believe in not taking rest days. So this is kind of like how I'm doing it for myself. So I said 10,000 steps and then 5 gym workouts per week. So for the 10,000 steps, I would say I probably get on average like 7,000 to 8,000 steps a day. I do have a golden retriever and she requires like a decent amount of exercise. So I do walk her a couple times a day. And then like I said, I primarily incline walk on the treadmill at the gym for cardio. I want to like push myself a little bit more with this. I want to incorporate a little bit of running into my routine. I haven't been a runner in so long. I've done it a couple times over the last 2 weeks and it's not going great. But I do feel a lot better once I run like a mile or a mile and a half, very slowly, more of like a jog. But I want to start incorporating that a little bit, and that will obviously help me get more steps in. And then outside of that, even just being more intentional about like how much I'm walking my dog. She obviously needs the exercise too. So 10,000 steps a day, and then I said 5 gym workouts per week. Again, I basically already do this, but I just want to be a little bit more intentional about it. I'm in the gym 5 to 6 days a week, but like, what am I actually doing there? Am I getting good workouts in when I'm there? Because in my opinion, I think I have better workouts when I'm like, okay, I'm only gonna go 5 days a week, rather than, no, let's like just go every single day. And even if I'm like sore and tired, I'm still gonna go, but then like force myself to do even 30 minutes. I think I have better workouts when I'm like sticking to a little bit more of a consistent routine. I will say with the 5 gym workouts per week thing, I also want to incorporate a little bit more like fitness classes in. Obviously, I'm going to a fitness class this morning with one of my friends, and she's trying to get into more of a workout routine. So I'm gonna go with her because like I haven't been to a fitness class in so long. So I'm excited to kind of like implement that back in. We're going to, it's called F45. I don't know if F45 is like a national thing or it's only in Nashville. I've never heard of it, but apparently it's kind of like some strength training and stuff. So I'm excited. I booked it through Classpass, which I've never done Classpass before. I feel like when I was in Pittsburgh, I didn't really have enough like locations or gyms around me in Classpass to like make the membership worth it. But now there's so many things down here in Nashville, so I might keep it. I did like the free trial for 14 days and we're gonna go to a couple of classes over the next like 2 weeks, but I think I might keep it because I wanna add some fitness classes back in. This is such a good way to like try a bunch of different classes. And then the last one that I have on this list is to get ready every single day. And this might not make a lot of sense for people either, but I feel like there's definitely days working from home. I do have to say, like, I'm home all day, every day. So there's definitely days where I stay in sweatpants all day, and I don't feel like the best version of myself when I'm doing that. I don't feel like the best version of myself when I'm like literally lounging around in the clothes that I slept in, or I don't have any makeup on, or my hair is a mess. My hair is like super greasy and dirty. So I feel like challenging myself to just like put myself together every single day. I just want to see how good I can feel. I think there's so many benefits to looking and feeling your best. Like, I definitely eat a lot better when I'm like sitting here in cute clothes, like maybe I'm wearing jeans, and you know what I mean? Like, there's just so many benefits to not like lounging around your house in sweatpants all day, every day. So I do a decent job at this too. I would say like 5-ish days of the week I'm like relatively put together, but I want to do this every single day over the next 75 days. And I think that brings us to the end of today's video. This was a quick one. Again, I just wanted to walk through the rules that I'm setting for myself for 75 Soft, and I'll try to update you guys. Maybe I'll do like once a week or something, a little update on how 75 Soft is going and what my results are, because again, I'm going to be tracking this every day in Notion. Habit tracker is in my Notion planner, which is linked in the description of this video if you're interested, or you can build one on Notion or on a piece of paper if you want. But I think this is the perfect way to kind of like end the summer, transition into fall feeling my best. So I'm excited to see how it goes. If you enjoyed this video, I would so appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. I've been putting a lot of effort into my YouTube channel over the last month or so, and I'm so excited about it. I have been really enjoying it so far. So let me know in the comments also what type of videos you would like to see from my channel, and thank you for following along.